So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
Hello, people. Welcome to the show, everybody. We'll let this play for a minute.
Lucky to be filling this space. Lucky to be counted as one who gets to know amazing grace. Lucky to be one of your own.
Amen. This is Sherry Keggy.
Lucky to be never alone.
Hi, Dan. How are you, buddy? Hi, Tommy, Jeff, Kim, Melanie.
Right from the day I was born, it's just as if I was sworn.
I have Phil here.
This sweet life with you, you're the lover of my soul. You have kept me close to your side. I couldn't run if I tried, because your relentless love would just keep pulling me back again.
This is awesome. I love this song.
Lucky to be breathing your air. Lucky to be filling this space. Lucky to be counted as one who gets to know amazing grace. Lucky to be wearing your crown. Lucky to be one.
All right,
who was
cool.
found.
Amen to that, right?
Little old me.
Yep.
I'm just a girl with a dream, just a girl with a dream, the one that you have so lavished on. There is no single song that could ever contain it all. Yeah, lucky to be breathing your air, lucky to be filling this space, lucky to be counted as one who gets to know amazing grace. Lucky to be freed of my shame.
Freed of my shame. That's a great line.
Lucky just to utter your name.
And then listen to this lyrics.
Call it blessed, call it fortunate. The word's not important, but that it's not by chance, but divine providence.
Thank him.
There we go. Okay, so how was your day, people? I know you might think my day was like super, like amazing and stuff. Randall, are you a tenor? Amen, Tommy.
I'm more of a baritone. I can go tenor if I put a lot of air behind it, but
This is
comfortably baritone.
that song is Sherry Keggy. It's CHERIKEAGGY. There we go. That's who it is, and it's on her CD, which is about a little over a year old, called "No Longer My Own." I actually interviewed her about this. I don't know. What's the buzzing?
The buzzing is just,
I can't handle it. Okay.
I can't stop it.
Okay. I'll pretend not to. Yeah, she is actually, Phil is her uncle.
Well, actually, I think we can. If you turn down the red on the
Just mine does.
on the far right.
The red?
Yeah.
Which one? This one?
It says 2-track in.
Oh, this one over here? I can't hear me.
No, that's not the right one.
That actually turned it down.
It's
Okay, I'm going to pretend I don't hear it.
all right. Well, you go on, and I'll take care of it.
Anyway, sorry about that, people. This wouldn't be Bible News Radio without that, though. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I met Sherry. I interviewed her, and then I got to meet her at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. Couple years, was about almost 2 years ago. Oh, it stopped. It's a miracle. My husband's the bomb. The bomb. Don't knock the light over. be funny to like just crashed. Anyway, she's tall. I'm short, just so you know. I don't know how tall you are. How tall are you people? Just tell me. I'm 5'4". Anyway, so today I got up, and those of you who've been praying for my back/hip, I want to thank you. It still hurts quite a bit. 5'5", taller. You guys are so funny. Right now it doesn't hurt because I'm not moving it, but anyway, I want to thank you all for praying. You're 6'1", Mia? Yeah, there you are. If you were 6'1", you'd be taller than Vicky. Anyway, so
I'm vertically challenged.
So I've been trying to take care of it. I am gonna go play pickleball tonight, but I'm gonna take it real easy in case I don't want to hurt myself too much. Don't ask your weight. Don't ask my weight either. Yeah. Anyway, so I got up, and today is the day that I go see my dad. I don't know how many of you take care of elderly parents or minister to the elderly. But I just thought I'd let you know that it's part of my ministry is take care of my dad, and actually his girlfriend Anne, who's kind of like my mom, she says so every time I go see her. You're like my daughter. Anyway, they both have dementia, and so I went there today, and I had lunch with them, and you know what's really sad is that they lost a friend today. Well, actually 2 days ago. There was a lady there who I got to meet, and I don't know her name, but she came down with this really rare cancer, and they had to cut off her arm in order to save her life. This is a true story. And so she was there with one arm. I think it was her non-dominant arm as well. She was a very sweet lady, but anyway, so my dad and Anne were telling me today that she died, and they just they were in shock over it. My poor dad was, choked up, and he started to cry. I asked if they were going to have a memorial service, and he was like, "We don't know," and everything. And then he was a little bit clingy when I left because he tends to get that way, even though I was there almost 2 hours. So pray for my dad, if you don't mind. His name is Clayton, or you just say Stacy's dad. I think God knows. It is sad, it just, it rips my heart out because it's like, and then Anne, poor Anne, she literally asked me the same thing within 5 minutes of each time she asked me it. And I thought, okay, I mean, this is part of the struggle of dealing with dementia. It's one thing to deal with somebody who's, just getting older and they have, ailments. Like my mom had cancer, she wasn't that old though. She was only 57 when she died, but she had all her faculties. And not that people with dementia don't have their faculties, but, it is challenging. Like, for example, Anne asked me, so how's things at Bible News Radio? Have you had any interesting, things happen or whatever? And then literally 5 minutes later, she asked me the exact same thing. And I just sat there and I thought, she doesn't know that she just asked me that 5 minutes ago. And yeah, it was very young Tommy. And I know, of course, the older you and me both get, the closer we get to that age, right? But so anyway, it's the struggle is real. Getting older is real. And I'm reading a really good book by Jan Silvius. I don't know if you guys saw that post I put up a while back, but if you don't know who Jan Silvius is, she is awesome. I love this woman. She is an awesome woman of God. And she actually used to co-host a radio show with Kay Arthur. And she's a very popular speaker, mentor, coach. Anyway, she has a brand new book out. It's called Courage for the Unknown Season, Navigating What's Next with Confidence and Hope. And she shares a lot about her, basically what the book is about is is how, as you go through life, like initially you're in your 20s and you're like, yeah, I can conquer the world. And then you hit 40 and you're like, hey, I'm middle-aged, and and then you start going through the transition. The closer you get to 50, then you're in menopause, and then pretty soon you're in the winter years, as she refers to it. And, you're taking care of your parents and various things like that. And then, of course, once you do that, then you're dead, you're it's like, hey, I know it's coming. Getting old ain't for sissies, people, just so you know. And yeah, I have to say that it's interesting. Today I was reading in the I think it was the 3rd chapter. She talked about fear, and she said a couple of things about fear that I thought were interesting. She said that fear, well, we all know that fear is part of life, right? I mean, it is. God created, not God didn't create it, but the way that we're designed as humans is with the natural fight or flight, right? I mean, if we didn't have that natural desire or fear, when danger comes upon us, then we wouldn't know to run, right? So fear is, quote, necessary for survival. The problem is that most of us wallow in the fear, which creates anxiety, and that's where you live, right? You live in the anxiety. But here's the thing, the opposite of fear is courage. And so, without fear, you would never have courage because you wouldn't know what courage is. And so I thought that was a very astute way of putting it, and, helping people to reframe the future, because most of the things that we get fearful about, we can't control. I mean, in fact, 99.9% of the stuff that you get fearful about is in the future. And nobody can control the future, right? And also the way God wired our brain is so that, the things that we focus on that are positive, if we ruminate on something that's negative over and over again, do you know that actually increases cortisol in your body, the stress hormones, all that stuff, and the wiring of your brain, the neural pathways in there, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But the antidote to that is given to us in Philippians chapter 4, verses 6, 7, and 8, where it says
whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what I was going to say.
You're going to say, be anxious for nothing,
that's what
but
it
by
was.
everything in prayer and supplication?
I couldn't remember it. I was having a moment. Don't judge people.
Make your request known to God, and the
Yes.
peace of God, which surpasses understanding, will
Exactly.
keep your hearts and minds
Thank
in
you
Christ
for
Jesus.
your smarty pants 53-year-old brain being better than my 49 one. Yeah, courage is able to operate in fear. Well, yeah, I think I know what you're trying to say. But anyway, so the answer though is be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving. That's your cure right there. And psychologists won't actually tell you that. They won't say that. So prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving is the answer to your anxiety and fear. Okay? Prayer, and not just talking about prayer, but actually doing it. Like, hey, God, hey, I'm remember that book many years ago Judy Blume wrote called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I don't know if I would recommend that book today, because back then I wasn't a believer and my mom didn't like Judy Blume, but whatever, that's bygones. But still, are you there, God? Hello, it's me. Stacy, help. Anyway, so prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving. And I have to give a shout out to all of you guys, you fellow Periscopers, Tommy, all you guys. I was watching Larissa today. I got to watch her because basically my back, a grateful chick. And, the Thanksgiving thing, is necessary, right? We're commanded to be thankful. And like Larissa said today, I thought that was so good, that being thankful is a responsibility. I thought, ooh, I didn't even write that down. It was so good I actually remembered it. You can share that with Larissa. Let her know I actually remembered something that she said. But yeah, being thankful is a responsibility. If we are thankful, then God takes care of the rest. It switches our whole attitude, and attitude is everything. It can be it can be to your detriment, or it can be to your help. So anyway, going back to my dad, by the way, hi John and Jeff, and hey, by the way, John, Dr. John is going to be on our show tomorrow night. And Jefferoni, I would love it if you would come on our show. I would love to have you on. I've been meaning to ask you. I should just ask you in front of everybody. Hello. But yeah. Anyway, and everybody else who just came in, I'm sorry. I don't know if I see you or not. Sorry. Lorenzo, hi. And I don't know. There's some other people. Okay, I can't see anybody else. But what else was I going to say? All right, where was I saying? You guys, I just blew it, didn't I? See, you know how hard this is? Okay, so, Randall, what was I just saying? I know I was going somewhere with my point.
Well, your point was being grateful is a responsibility.
Yes.
And
that's what Larissa said.
right.
Anyway, I was just talking about, attitude and stuff. And so, I have to admit that when I go and see my dad, honestly, I grumble inside. So you guys can pray for me for this. Because I do. I go, dang, man. If my brother would just go and I wouldn't have the, quote, burden, blah, blah. And I always start off with a negative attitude. True story. I hate to admit it, but I do. Because it's like, because I know what I'm going to get. I know where I'm going. I'm going to a home where the people don't remember stuff. And honestly, it's hard to see your parent wither away and get old and all that. Shalom. Yeah, it's hard, It's kind of a bummer. But I have to reframe and go, okay. And so this is totally what I did. On the way there, I have a half-hour drive, so I was listening to some Jamie Grace, and I was like, thank you, Lord. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, it is, Lord. Thank you. I get to go see my dad, who's still alive, And just reframing the whole thing. I don't know. That was all free. But anyway, that's my day, in case you care. All right. I want to share with you this quote, and this is where we get the title of the show from. And Randall titled the show, so I'm not sure what the title is. Oh, yeah. Pro-Christian versus Christlike. Okay, so here is the quote. This is from Beth Moore. Okay, you guys know Beth Moore? Beth Moore has this as her pinned tweet. If you actually go to her website, oh, thanks for doing that. If you go to, well, you don't even have to go there. You can just screenshot this. Okay, this is what Beth Moore said. She said, "It will become increasingly vital that we learn to distinguish between what is pro-Christian and what is actually Christ-like." All right, I'm going to say it again. It will become increasingly vital that we learn to distinguish between what is pro-Christian and what is actually Christ-like. Now, I don't know about you, but let's do what Laura Royer always says for a minute. Let's unpack this, because this is actually a very deep thought, in my opinion. And it actually applies to our study apologetically as ambassadors of Christ, that where we're out there impacting the culture. But if we look at this through the lens of trying to understand news and the culture from a biblical worldview, a lot of what, quote, passes as, quote, pro-Christian is not necessarily Christ-like. And I'll give you an example. How do I say this? America. Let's just say America, okay? America is, quote, a Christian nation. We are pro-Christian, right? Okay, would you all agree with that? Okay, I think that's true. But is America, by and large, Christ-like? Does our government act very Christ-like? The answer is no, just so you know. If it did, we wouldn't have ridiculous things going before the Supreme Court that don't belong there. And if we did, we wouldn't have abortion in the land. We wouldn't have gay marriage. We wouldn't have divorce. We wouldn't have all of the different things out there, that are out there, especially when you consider the Christian Post. And I did think Post in my head when I said that. And the top 10 stories of 2017, were they pro-Christian stories? Well, they were about Christians, right? So in a sense, that's kind of pro-Christian. But were they Christ-like? Nope. Most of those stories had nothing to do with Christ and how he would be. Nothing. And so it's a really, really big distinction. And so, God tells us that to pick up our cross daily and to follow him, which is so difficult, right? It is so difficult to pick up our cross, because that's basically saying, hey, I'm going to lay down what I want for what God wants. And yet 99% of the time, most of us don't even think about what God wants. We think about what we want. And Larissa, again, I have to tell you guys, you should go watch her scope today. She gave a challenge, and I think it was in her scope yesterday, but she mentioned it today. She said, and I'm hoping some of you are in there, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But she said, think about the last 7 days of your life and write down the things that you wanted but you didn't get, and then write down the things that you got but you never asked for. And she said, I would challenge you to look at that list and not see that the things that you actually got that you didn't ask for, that list is a lot longer than the things that you wanted versus what you got. Hopefully that made sense. That makes sense? Put a 1 if that made sense. I'm pretty sure it made sense. In my head, it totally made sense. Did that make sense to you, Bareface?
I know that I knew what you were saying.
Okay.
Meant to say.
Well, a couple of people agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I was thinking a lot about that, because the culture celebrates Christmas in a way where we make it all about us, right? I mean, just admit it, right? We do. What do you want for Christmas? I don't know. What do you want for Christmas? Right? Versus, what we got, like, what you have? You have air that you can breathe. You're lucky to be breathing his air, like God, like that song says. We have his grace. We have his mercy. We have his forgiveness. We have his faithfulness. Ever think about that one? How every day the sun comes up, the sun will come up tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. And I'm very tempted to break out into the, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. And I don't know, sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Okay, sorry. I just did a sunshine trilogy for you. And I know I'm going to get an email about this one. Hey, you guys wouldn't believe this is ad-libbed. Just saying, people. Anyway, we have a lot to be thankful for, and our attitudes are good. We have to reframe things every day, which is actually why I started the Unstuck Club, in order to help us all get unstuck. So if you're not in the Unstuck Club yet, feel free to join it. You can go to bit.ly/ all caps Unstuck Club. I think Randall's going to put it up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, all you guys should go in there, because my last lesson was on overcoming learned helplessness. Yeah. Can you imagine what would happen if you could learn courage or learn faith, right? That's what all of us are on Periscope trying to talk about, and motivate, encourage you to go forward, right? Anyway, I hope you check it out. It's free. Free. And I think we got almost 5 hours in there. Yeah, get to the lesson. It's only 16 minutes. You can listen to it while you're taking a shower, or whatever. Don't worry, I won't be able to see because I'm on video. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So so let's talk about some of these news stories, first of all. Let's talk about Judge Roy Moore for a minute. I've been following this news since the election, right? Because I've been watching what Roy Moore has been doing. You'll tape over the camera lens. If I were you, I'd just shut the shower curtain, Jeff. That's all you got to do. So there's a story over on foxbusiness.com titled Alabama's Moore files late challenge to Senate election result alleging fraud. And I'm going to read it. Okay. Okay, it says Alabama Republican Roy Moore filed a court challenge late on Wednesday to the outcome of a U.S. Senate election he unexpectedly lost hours before officials in the state were due to certify his opponent's victory. Doug Jones became the first Democrat in a quarter century to win a Senate seat in the Republican stronghold state when he was declared the winner of the December 12th ballot. When he takes office, the Republican majority in the upper chamber will narrow to 51 of 100 seats. Moore, a former Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court, whose campaign was dodged by sexual harassment accusations that he denies, has not conceded defeat despite being urged by President Donald Trump to do so. By the way, we had a guy named Donald Trump follow me here on Periscope, Donald Tromp, followed during the Daily Disciple Show. Just so you know, we're influencing Donald Trump. Anyway, it says here, in Wednesday's filing in the Montgomery Circuit Court, Moore alleged that potential voter fraud had denied him the chance of victory and sought to halt a state canvassing board meeting that is scheduled to ratify Jones's win on Thursday. The board consists of Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, Attorney General Steve Marshall, and Secretary of State John Merrill. We call on Secretary of State Merrill to delay certification until there is a thorough investigation, Moore said in a statement posted online by his campaign team. This is an interesting story to me for a lot of reasons. Because on the outside, it clearly looks like Doug won, right? Mr. Jones won. But from Roy Moore, and it's kind of like, oh, Roy Moore is a poor sport. Don't you think? That judge who did all those horrible, rotten things, you know, such an evildoer. He's being a brat, a baby. He needs to just concede, right? I think there's a lot more behind the scenes that we don't know about. And I think that the media, because the media is complicit with the crimes that they've committed, and I actually mean that when I say it, I think that by intentionally promoting slander and gossip and accusation, and you know where accusation comes from, biblically, who the father of lies is, the accuser of the brethren. Roy Moore is, being accused of things that have not been proven at all. Even the yearbook, Gloria Allred, she's just like MIA now. Where is she at? She was all over the news with her women whining about all this stuff. And don't get me wrong, I support women who've been victimized as one who has been victimized. But in this case, something doesn't smell right. And it's not that it's impossible that Doug actually won, right? That's not the case. But if you understand how the left has come in and influenced a whole bunch of things, and then there's lots of things missing and are out of place. It was like I was talking to my dad today. I went ahead and I brought a puzzle, a 1,000-piece puzzle to my dad and Nan, because they put puzzles together there. And this particular puzzle is a 3D HD one, which are very cool, by the way. It was of jelly beans, so it's very, very bright colors. And we were trying to get the box open. We were literally trying to cut it open because for some reason, I don't know who boxed it, but they didn't make it real easy to open. So I had my dad's knife, this big long blade, about that long. And my dad's like, honey, I could do it. So we're like sawing open this puzzle box. But while we were doing that, Anne says, I hope we don't lose one or two of those pieces because then it won't be complete. Well, I think there's a couple pieces missing in this whole Roy Moore thing. Especially given the people who support him and the fact that he has always won. So it's highly, 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 highly unusual in this situation that it turned out the way that it did. And if you know anything about the left, and I'm talking the militant left, I'm not talking your average bear lefter. I'm talking the militant left that's out there, that they bust people in to vote. There's literal voter fraud, etc. That's one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, with electronic voting. I totally agree with people who say that we shouldn't have electric voting. I don't think we should because it's too easy to tamper with it. of course, everything is electric, so, you could be wiped out tomorrow with your ID, because, just saying. Have you ever saw Speed?
I mean the net.
The Net. That's what I meant.
One of
Speed was
those
good, too. Anyway.
One of the Sandra Bullock movies.
Yeah. Anyway, so, I'm just praying that God's will would be done here. And if it turns out he really did lose, then, he needs to step out. But I don't see him as a man who's just for the sake of, wanting to file another lawsuit and drag this out and keep himself in the media. I don't think he's that full of himself. That he would not, fight for justice to be done, because that's all he's ever done is fight for justice. This is a man who's been maligned for putting up the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the article goes on to say that, quoting, kind of paraphrasing Moore said that 3 election experts who reviewed the results agreed that the irregularities in 20 precincts of Jefferson County alone are enough to reverse the outcome of the election. So in just 20 of the precincts, I don't know how many hundred precincts, how many counties there are in Alabama, just 20 precincts in one county, the irregularities there, if those turn out to be bogus, those alone would reverse the outcome of the election. So,
well, there you go, right there. All right, so there's that one. Boy, this hour's going by fast.
Indeed it is.
You guys make time go by fast, you know that? Okay. The second story I wanted to bring to your attention is this one over on thedailywire.com. This one I find super cool. And I don't know if you will or not, but I do. By the way, thank you for the hearts, Jeff, and Skittles, and anybody else giving them. I totally appreciate it. Okay, so this is titled Emboldened by Trump. 10 more countries may move their embassies to Jerusalem. Now, I find this interesting. Without even reading the article, I find this cool because Israel is God's chosen people and nation, and Jerusalem is the capital, as it should be. Okay, so I just think that this is very interesting. I'm trying to scroll through on my page here because it's kind of jerky on here. Okay, so it says here, as the Times of Israel reports, when Hodotvili, I'm not sure I'm saying that right.
I'm missing the first paragraph, but...
Huh?
Oh well.
Oh,
Introduction to Deputy Foreign Minister Zippy.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, like I said, my page here is kind of messing with me. Okay. On Monday, after Guatemala courageously decided it would follow the United States lead and move its embassy to Jerusalem, Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister Zippy Hodotvili, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, announced that at least 10 other countries are discussing moving their embassies to Jerusalem as well. Isn't that neat? As the Times of Israel reports, when Hodotvili spoke to Israel Radio, she would not confirm which states were discussing the move with Israel, but Channel 10 reported that the first country likely to announce such a decision would be Guatemala's neighbor, Honduras. And it says here, on Sunday, Guatemalan President Jimmy Morales announced on his official Facebook account that he had told his foreign ministry to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He spoke of his talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, "We spoke about the excellent relations that we have had as nations since Guatemala supported the creation of the State of Israel. One of the most important topics," and then in brackets it says, "of the conversation was the return of the Embassy of Guatemala to Jerusalem. So I inform you that I have instructed the Chancellor to initiate the respective coordination so that it may happen." On Monday, Netanyahu saluted Guatemala in the Knesset, stating, "God bless you, my friend President Jimmy Morales. God bless both our countries, Israel and Guatemala. I told you recently that there would be other countries that will recognize Jerusalem and move their embassies. I repeat, there will be more. This is just the beginning." Thank you for inviting followers. Also on Monday, Knesset Speaker Yuli Edelstein told attendees at a Likud party event that the parliamentary heads of 2 other countries had echoed their desire to move their embassies from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. According to the Walla News, Romania and Slovakia are planning to make such a move. Paraguay Yeah, and Togo are reportedly also considering such a move. Hey, there's Icer. Haven't seen you in a long time. In recent years, Israel and Honduras have had close relations. In 2016, the two countries signed an agreement so Israel could aid Honduras' armed forces to fight organized crime. Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez graduated from Mashiv, Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm not. Honduras joined Guatemala last week to vote against the UN General Assembly's resolution condemning President Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Guatemala has been friendly to Israel since the founding of the Jewish state in 1948. Its embassy resided in Jerusalem from the 1950s until 1980. Before 1980, Guatemala, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Haiti, the Netherlands, Panama, Venezuela, and Uruguay had their embassies in Jerusalem, but when Israel declared in 1980 that Jerusalem was its indivisible and eternal capital, the UN Security Council, read evil people, passed UN Security Council Resolution 480, urging those countries to move their embassies to Tel Aviv, prompting their transfer. See, read evil people. Anyway, the vote in the UN Security Council in August 1980, 14-0 with one abstention, could have been defeated with one negative vote from one of the 5 permanent members of the Council, which were the United States, France, the United Kingdom, Russia, and China. But the Carter administration, who is anti-Israel, by the way, would not vote against the resolution, instead abstained from the vote because they are big fat chickens. No, it just doesn't say that in there, but you know. Anyway, Resolution 480 followed UN Security Council Resolution 476 in June 1980, which stated that Israel had no right to alter the character and status of the holy city of Jerusalem. The vote was 14-0 with one abstention. The Carter administration abstained because they are big fat turkey chicken faces from the resolution. Too. I don't like Jimmy Carter, just so you know. I think he's an anti-Semite and he was a bad president. Anyway, there's more, but that's pretty much it. Anyway, so I think that this is interesting. And going back to our quote of the day, which was from Beth Moore, where she says, it will become increasingly vital that we learn to distinguish between what is pro-Christian and what is actually Christ-like. When I think about this particular story, clearly this is pro-Christian, but I think it's also Christ-like in the sense that when a nation is supporting God's word the way it was actually laid out, and that's exactly what they're doing here, I think God is pleased with that, and I think the Lord is going to bless these people, these nations, for supporting Israel the way that, they should. What do you think, Bareface?
I agree. It has nothing to do with, supporting all policies and everything that goes on inside the nation. They're simply recognizing Israel as the Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, which it has been practically, functionally, for decades. I mean, pretty much soon after it was reestablished as a nation in 1948. Jerusalem has been the operative capital of Israel. It's just, as stated in that article, when they said it is the eternal, indivisible capital of Israel, it's like, oh no, that doesn't leave room for a Palestinian state or a whoever or somebody else to, divide it all up. And those are hateful words to say it's an indivisible capital. So all you other nations should pull your embassies out and move to Tel Aviv in protest. That, which didn't help things because, governmental business was happening in Jerusalem, and then to move everybody, up northwest into Tel Aviv, that kind of hindered communication, stuff like that. And I don't know what the point was, other than a statement about how dare they say indivisible capital. But, it's nice to see. And again, under the Clinton administration, it was signed into law to move the U.S. Embassy back to Jerusalem. That was stupid to move out of there in the first place. And all previous presidents, including Clinton, who signed it into law, kept putting it off using the 6-month waiver that's in it, pushing out for another 6 months, which means Bush and Obama pushed it out, 8 times in their terms.
Quite some, yeah, a number of times.
Or, yeah, so twice per year for 8 years. Well, 16 times, I guess. Anyway. Yeah.
Larissa's on my tail.
Okay.
Sorry, I just got to
Don't turn around.
Well, this is the funny thing. When I was watching Larissa's scope today, I was on the treadmill for a half hour watching her as walking. I walked slow today, though, because my hip was bugging me. And I told her, I said, I'm thankful that I passed you. Why I'm on here. And now she's on my tail now, people. It's many hours later, but she's catching up to me anyway. That's supposed to be funny. All right, so we got one more story, but first we should thank Ariel Ministries, our sponsor for Bible News Radio. Also very thankful for them. If you guys have not yet gone to ariel.org and purchased anything off their website, I would encourage you to do it. It supports us. Save 20% when you use the coupon code Bible News. And, of course, we recommend the Yeshua book. The abridged version is what we're asking you to consider buying. And you can get that and save 20%. And I have it actually, if you go to my pinned tweet on Twitter at Bible News Radio, you can click through there and you can save 20% again when you use the coupon code Bible News. And don't forget, all of those come and see studies are very, they're free. I mean, there's like 50 free Bible studies on the Ariel website. And there's a lot of other good stuff there too. So I will probably be talking to you a little bit more about some of that stuff in the future. And I want to thank those of you who downloaded the PDF and you bought the Hanukkah thing. That's still available too. $2.40 that's super cheap for the hours it took Arnold to put that together for all of us. So go support them and learn more about your faith from the context in which it was presented to us. All right, we've got a short time here. Okay, so over on cbnnews.com, we have an article. This was from earlier this year, but I want to share this again. It says here, Australia passes gay marriage law that will force new ministers to perform same-sex weddings. Now, I know there's a number of you in our audience that live in Australia who are, really upset about this, and, rightfully so. For those of you who are watching or listening to the podcast over on our Spreaker page, there's a graphic in this article, and this is very disturbing to me. There's 4 men actually, and they're all holding a sign. One sign says, "Love is love," and then it shows a heart rainbow. "I want to marry my child," and then the website underneath is partyforfreedom.org.au, and then "Love is love, I want to marry my goat." Again, it's the same website. And another person is "Love is love, I want to marry my goat." What's interesting here about this, and I just throwing it out here, you always hear the liberal mantra, "Love is love." How is me loving somebody of the same gender hurting you? Right? We just want equal rights. We actually are tolerant, and we want love, because love is love. I should be able to love whoever I want. Well, yes, I will say that. Biblically, love is patient, love is kind, love is gentle, love is, etc. But that's not biblical love, right? That is saying, I want no boundaries whatsoever in my life. I want to be able to have a relationship, a sexual relationship with somebody not even of my species. All right? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, hello. I mean, and there are people that are actually, quote, marrying themselves. That's just another story. But there are people who are very, very serious about this. NAMBLA, remember this. Don't ever forget NAMBLA, the North American Man Boy Love Association. Their motto is sex before 8 years old, or it's too late. They are the underpinning of the modern LGBT movement. Came out of NAMBLA, the North American Man Boy Love Association, whose motto is sex before 8 or it's too late. So when you see this man proudly saying, love is love, I want to marry my child, that is not a joke.
Well,
that is
it is
evil. That is absolutely wicked and evil. No adult should ever be with a child, period. That's not how God intended it, and period, you know.
Indeed, the idea is evil, but these signs here, these are making a point. These are not men who really want to do this stuff.
Okay.
Because the Party for Freedom, Australia, make Australia great again is their motto. They're making a point. If the legalization of same-sex marriage, the rationale for that is love is love.
But
then, love is love. I want to marry my child. I want to marry my goat. I want polygamy now.
Right.
What on what basis can we refuse that?
I get that. But what's sad is how normal that this is becoming in that movement.
Oh, indeed. There are people who legitimately, want polygamy now, that want to marry their child, that want to marry their goats. And as they push that forward, on what basis can that be denied? I mean, besides biology and
biology's a good one,
and biblical morality,
and species would be another one.
Okay, well, the rationale for same-sex marriage isn't biology. I mean, because it's not about reproduction, right?
Right.
It certainly isn't about Judeo-Christian morality, because it's against that.
Phil would agree with you on this one.
So, the basis is just love. Hey, I love this individual. I should be allowed to, quote, marry them. Get my air quotes in here. Marry them in this tiny little box.
Your hands are so big. And manly.
So, what's the on what rationale can we refuse marriage to a child or a goat or many women?
Yeah.
Or many men?
You're right. Okay, well, anyway, so I want to go ahead and read this. I should probably read it, right? Okay. So it says here, Australia's parliament has voted to legalize gay marriage. The bill defines marriage as a union between two persons. Of course, the question is, who defines personhood? Actually, that's a big debate in America under the pro-life movement. Remember Terry Schiavo? Yeah. Anyway. Okay, it should become law in about a whole month. So churches, religious organizations, and existing ministers are not required to perform gay wedding ceremonies. However, ministers who are licensed after the law passes will have to perform same-sex wedding ceremonies or be in violation of anti-discrimination laws. The irony of it all. Australian lawmakers rejected amendments to the bill protecting freedom of speech and religion. Yes, because they don't see it. But see, if you hinder freedom of speech and religion, you control the masses and deviance reigns. Right? I mean, just say it the way it is. The emperor has no clothes. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. It's the child that points it out. I'll never forget, before I left California, Randall and I went to a pro-life picketing protest in front of Disneyland. And I have some friends who are radical in that way, and they actually, then bakers have to make goat cakes. I know, right? Anyway, we were out there in front of the entrance to Disneyland. It wasn't even the actual entrance. It was the entrance to the driving through the entrance. It was the entrance to getting into the entrance. So we were out
across the street thereof.
Across the street.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of our friends who brought their signs of the babies that were all, you've seen all the pictures, just horrible pictures. to, the aborted baby pictures. And this one father with his kids came walking up and just yelled at me and Randall, "What the hell are you doing here? Don't you know this is inappropriate for children to see?" And blah, 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 blah. And he said that the kid was upset because he saw these pictures of babies. And I said to him, it's interesting that you're not upset. But what's even more interesting is that you don't care that the future patrons of Disneyland are being murdered this way. I mean, hello, you're killing off your future here. All the other people that want to go to Disneyland, if these babies don't get to live, they never get to go to Disneyland. He walked away. Kind of like, but the thing is that child knew. That child knew. And, so babies know. And I don't mean babies in the sense, you know what I mean. The children know out of the mouth of babes, right? They will speak the truth, which is why as parents and teachers and stuff, we have to be careful, right? I teach Awana, so I don't have my own kids, but I teach other people's kids. And those children, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, those kids are smart little kids, man. And some days they come back and they repeat everything I said 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, okay, I better be careful here, but someone has said America will not end abortion until America. I'm thinking there's more to that. Until America sees abortion. Yeah, it's interesting, Tommy. And actually, I should have you come on and talk. I was thinking about asking you to come on and actually talk about this because I know you work in a crisis pregnancy center. We should do that. We need to have you back anyway. I mean, you were my #1 guest this year. Yeah, I think it was Janet Parshall who reported on her show years ago that when the bill to pass partial birth abortion was presented before Congress, that C-SPAN, which, goes into the House of Reps and the Senate and all that, they actually refused to show the images of what happens during a partial birth abortion, where literally, a baby is being born, he has the scissors plunged into the back of his neck, and then the suction cup, they stubbed in there, and then they smash the skull and suck out the brains of the poor baby, right? I mean, that's, I've always said the same thing that you just said. I've always said, look, if you actually support abortion, then you should have to perform one yourself. And then tell me how you feel afterwards, It's horrible. And I also say the same thing about sodomy, right? If you're supporting this homosexuality, which is unnatural, you should actually see or read the book that my friend Peter LaBarbera has on all the physical, it doesn't even talk about the emotional, the physical actual consequences of unnatural relations like that. I mean, ripping of the anus, VD, you just name all this stuff that it destroys people. I mean, it really does. And the Satan, he knows exactly what he's doing. Right? So, yeah. Anyway, I could rant and rave about that a long time, as you know. Probably shouldn't. Hey, Cheryl's Crafty World. So, yeah. So anyway, in closing, let me say again, tomorrow, Dr. John, John, what's your last name? I just totally forgot it. Wait, is it in your name? Wait, hold on. No, I don't know. Well, anyway, Dr. John is Strukins. There you go. Thank you for reminding me. Is my guest. We're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about, I think we're going to talk about addiction. Because John actually is a psychologist in Canada. He's been practicing for a long time, and yeah. and anyway, and we're gonna look at it from a Christian perspective too. Yeah, I'm Stacy. I'm not Tracy. I was close. I'm only Tracy to old people. Why, I don't know. It's true. I had a guest, one of my oldest guests I ever had on this show, went ahead and called me Tracy during the whole show. I didn't have the heart to tell him my name was actually Stacy. But then afterwards I told him. And then the next time he came on, he corrected himself. So that was pretty funny. Oops. So anyway, so John's going to be our guest tomorrow. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I do have something that I would love for you to weigh in on. If you go over to my page, Jamie Grace posted, and this is silly, kind of. It's not really, actually. Jamie Grace posted a 3-minute video asking the questions about Star Wars. You know, she wrote here, and I quote, "Could someone please explain to me who Luke Skywalker is and what's up with the Jedis? Are you born a Jedi? Can you become a Jedi? What are the requirements? Is Darth Vader the same guy in every movie? Does he have a wife? Is his son an alien too? Or is that just his outfit? I have so many questions." Well, Jamie Grace is 27. I think she's turned 27. Maybe 26. She was born in 1991. Somebody do the math. But anyway, she's young. She's young enough to be my kid if I had him. Right? Well, Jamie, just so you know, I saw Star Wars in 1977 when I was 9 years old. I think I was 9. Now, she just had a birthday. So I think she's 26. I think she's 26. She was born in 1991. So quick, somebody do the math.
Well,
Anyway,
she's got to be 26
Yeah,
unless she was born.
she was born in 91 because she just
If
released
she was
her
born
album.
very, very late in the year.
She was born
like
in
the
nine-
December 29th or afterward.
Yeah, she was.
In which way?
Well, she just had a birthday.
Right. So 26 is 2017.
Okay. All right. Anyway, the point is, in 1977, when Star Wars came out, I didn't get it either. And you know what? I'm like, I still don't get it. Randall's like, don't you get this? I'm like, no, I don't get this. If somebody could explain this to me,
Of course.
why this is so great, I don't know. The only thing I like about Star Wars, honest, the Force is with you, and the music. The theme is super good.
Yeah.
Don't judge. I'm just being honest. Hey, you know, sorry for you. Okay. Anyway, you guys be nice to each other.
Well,
I think apples before oranges is homosexual, and the other person in there is telling them that they're. Anyway, just ignore that. If it's Evangelist Valerie, hello. Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, you go on my Facebook
Star
page.
Wars.
If you're friends of mine, then please weigh in on the Star Wars thing and help me understand this, because I don't get it. I don't get Raiders of the Lost Ark that much either, and I don't get the Galaxy things either. I'm just not. I'm brilliant when it comes to certain things, but this, I just don't get it. I'm being vulnerable here, just so you know, don't judge.
Well, the movie in 1977, Episode 4.
Right. It started with
First
4,
one,
and then
yes.
messed everything up. See, who does that? Who starts as not only has this movie been in the movies for 40 years, like, since I was 9 years old, people, I haven't gotten Star Wars. I just don't get it. All I know is the Force is with you. I'm supposed to root for Luke Skywalker and the good guy.
Well,
And there's R2-D2, unless I think he died. I'm not even sure. And
Well-
C-3PO, is he still around?
no,
And then there's all these, and there's like,
yeah, okay.
I am your father. Other than that, I don't really know anything.
Well, if you saw Episode 4, it has that was really cool at the time. The scrolling text, the crawling text that disappeared off into the horizon.
I remember that.
Yeah,
In a galaxy far, far away, it said something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I'm married to a weirdo.
Anyway, I mean, that sets the whole thing up for you. And then, anyway,
Rachel.
Dark cater into the
What is your guys' take on non-believers? Well, you got to be more
They
specific.
exist.
Are you talking about non-believers in what? Like non-believers in
Santa
Star Wars or Santa Claus?
The Force.
And you live in
Darth
Hollywood.
Vader.
You live in Hollywood? Oh, that's good. Somebody's got to live there. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Lives in Hollywood and never saw Star Wars, so that's okay.
Anyway, go weigh in on that if you don't mind. Okay, also, today is the 28th. I will also, even though they're not paying me for this, if you want a waterproof Bible, you only got a couple more days to get one. With the coupon code Bible News Radio, you can save 20% and get free shipping. Go to waterproofbible.com in case you want one. I just have to tell you that I took my waterproof Bible that I had, and I took it to Awana. And the little boys and girls that I teach, I said, hey, you guys, you want to see something really super cool? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool, let's go over to the drinking fountain. And so we went over to the drinking fountain, and I opened my Bible up, and I got it all wet. And they were like, oh, that's so cool. It is cool. Anyway, so if you want to get a Bible, I mean, if you want to be able to take a shower with your Bible and take it wherever you go, you know, in the rain, have it wherever and not worry about it, get a waterproof one. Okay? Yeah. Waterproof.
Yes, be sure to use the coupon code Bible News Radio.
Yeah, because that will save you 25% and get you free shipping until the 31st. Yo, all right. I think this is it. Unless any of you have other questions that we can entertain while we're still here. By the way, Jason, I have to tell you, I appreciate you retweeting the show, all you guys that do that, and inviting all your followers. I noticed, though, that, because I'm an observant person, that you invite 3,000 and something followers, but you actually only have 1,700 followers on your account. So my question is, have you set up certain groups that you have all these 3,000 people in there? Is that how you did? Because if it is, then you need to teach me how to do it, because I want to learn how to do it. I just blocked the yo kiss. The porn is so obvious these days. It's a secret. See, Tommy wants to know too. We're going to have a Periscope summit about this. All right. The topic is over. You'll message me? Okay, are you on Marco Polo with me? I'm trying to remember. What do you think of the alarming increase of the Muslim population? Well, I think what's actually even more alarming is that there are so many Muslims becoming Christians that it's actually totally cool, because they're having visions of Christ and converting to him. I was visited by God last night. Well, that's good. What's it to do with you, BMW? I don't have a BMW, but I have a good friend that has one. I think it's purple. Not sure. Oh, you're on Marco? Okay. Okay. Are we connected? If we're not, well, let's connect. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We have an appointment with pickleball, and Randall is going to get beat. Don't worry. You know, it won't be by me, though. Vicky in a purple BMW. Yeah, I think Vicky's BMW. Isn't her BMW purple? I know she has one. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. You'll have to tweet her and ask her, is your BMW purple? We can't remember. She might not get back to you soon, though, because I think she's traveling. Matter of fact, I know she's traveling, so I'm not thinking. I know she is. Yeah, pickleball is fun. Okay. I'm Ahmed. I actually did respond to you, actually. No, it's not because you're Muslim. Actually, I've interviewed numerous former Muslims on our show. You should check out those interviews. All right, John, looking forward to seeing you. Everybody, make sure you come back tomorrow night. John, who is a psychologist, is going to come on our show all the way from Canada. Yeah, we have a Canadian coming to the show, people. Is he the first Canadian in our house? I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. But he is a supporter of the show. Oh, yeah, I forgot that. How did we forget that? Oh, yeah, if you want to be a pillar of the community, that's somebody who donates once a month to us. Go to BibleNewsRadio.com/give. And then you can do that. You can become a pillar of the community. I talked to Greg a couple days ago, and hopefully in a couple of weeks we're going to have our new website up, and it'll be way easier to see all that stuff. So, all right. Ahmed, next time you might want to come in on a show at the beginning of the show and on a free-for-all Friday show when we actually address more issues like that on Friday, as opposed to a topical show like tonight's show. But you're welcome to come back. I hope you do. You can watch our archives, and you can tap it up. Give us some hearts, because you know you love us. All right, everybody, remember, be bold and stand up and go with God, because he loves you. And if you get an opportunity, go play pickleball as well, because it's good for you. Okay, we'll see you later.